Youths TV, empowering lives.
My name is John Maluki from Friends Group Kenya. With me is Fagilia TV and Vincent Kenyan Boy. So my first question would be, away from public image, who is Apostle Ndura?
Apostle Ndura is Apostle Ndura.
Away from the public, like
Yeah,
how
away
we
from
know
the
you.
public.
Yeah, how we know you.
Is Ndura Waruinge.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Your story is very inspiring. You came from crime, and then now you're a pastor. You're serving God. So how is it different, and how was the transition from the other side to now serving God?
One thing that people need to know is that the transition from one level of life to another level of life, it is God-oriented. It is not man-oriented, but God-oriented. Because God has a reason for everything that happens in your life. When you are born, God says, I knew you, and sanctified you and set you apart, and then consecrated you, then anointed you to become a prophet unto the nation. If you look at the life of Moses, when Moses was born, he was supposed to die, but at some point, the family decided to throw him out of the family. They didn't want to see him die while he was in their hands. And then they took him alongside a river where they left the boy to die. But again, God sent the daughter of the killer, the daughter of the person that was that sought Moses to kill Moses. The daughter was sent to come and rescue Moses. So Moses was picked and taken to the killer, to live with the killer. And he was taken as a baby of the family. With the killer, the person who was supposed to kill Moses, walked alongside with Moses, and they made Moses to become what he became. You know, Moses is a writer of law. All the books of Moses are the law. That is where you have the entire constitution of the world comes from the books of Moses. And for that matter, God has a way of empowering you, making you become what he wants you to become, and building you to what he wants you to become. So God knew that he wants a liberator. And a liberator, you can never be liberated from things that have kept you in bondage without breaking laws. So any liberator comes in to break laws that have been holding you. So Moses had to be taken to live with the Pharaoh so that he can be taken to the best school of law. So when it comes for him to liberate, he knew law, and he knew what to say and what not to say. In fact, Moses was taken to the best university by the person who was supposed to kill him. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that every life is a positive life. It doesn't matter what you are in, whether you're in crime, whether you're in prostitution, whatever situation that you are in, God knows it. And it's a testimony that God wants to use to make you become a billboard to the rest of the world. So my life as Mungiki, my life in crime, and my life in everything that has come up is not, or was not, will never be a negative testimony. It is a positive testimony, and that is what makes you. For you to look for me, you came to look for me because you have the history, my history, the past history, Mungiki. That is why you are here. You're not here because I'm a Christian. Otherwise, if I was just a mere Christian, you would not be interested in me. But because I have come from a background that you are interested in, to come and maybe interrogate, come and know what am I doing, what am I doing, what was up to. And the first question you asked me, who is Apostle? When?
Away from the public.
Away from the public, because you really want to know whether I changed. Because that's the question. That's the reasoning you asked me that question. Whether this man changed, because even who sent you to come and interview me, he sent you go and check whether this man, whatever he is doing, because you've heard me doing ABCD, some few things here and there. And everybody is like, is this man genuine? Is this man doing that? Why this man, what is speaking about peace? Why not church? Because the perception of the people, what they think of you, how they look of you, how they judge you, and how they regard you. The most important thing is that the judgment should be personal, not communal. Any judgment is supposed to be personal. How do you judge yourself? How do you look at yourself? How do you see yourself? That's the most important thing. Next question.
One thing you've said that stands out is that God predestined you, like when you're in your mother's
Yes.
womb, they knew. So one of the questions that disturbs me as a person is, how can God's will and free will exist?
God's will and free will.
Free will.
I don't think there is free will. Everybody is a slave. Everybody is a slave. I'm a slave of something. I'm a slave of what I believe in. I'm a slave of Christ now. I was a slave of Mungiki and the things of Mungiki. When I shifted, I didn't shift to a vacuum. I shifted to another authority. So you come from one authority to another authority. There's no independence. There's no freedom. We don't have any freedom on earth because we are creatures of God. And you see the teachings of Jesus Christ say, thy kingdom come. Yeah? All things to be done on earth as it is done in heaven. What does it tell you? That you are requesting the kingdom of heaven to come down to colonize the kingdom of the earth. So we are requesting thy kingdom come. We are requesting for the kingdom of God to come so that this kingdom may colonize us. We become slaves. So we are a colony. Those who believe in Christ, who believe in God, we are a colony of a kingdom in heaven. While also people those believe in devil worshipping, who believe in Lucifer, they are also a colony of somebody called Lucifer, who has also his kingdom. So there is no free will. Free will belongs to people who, to non-starters, people who does not understand why they are on earth. Because if you understand where you are on earth, you are either warm or cold. That's the book of Revelation, chapter number 3. You are not lukewarm. You should be either hot or you are either cold. So there is no single time you will be free from the things of the world. You are either in the dark or in the light. Nothing to say there is a free will. You don't have a will. You didn't woke yourself up in the morning. You are not here yourself. There is a power that has brought you. You are breathing because God has decided you should breathe. You are walking because God has decided you need to walk. So you are not here because of your free will. You are here because I didn't ask you to call me. You just decided to call me because there is a story you are following. That is not free will. There is a force, there is a spirit inspiring you, asking you, call him now. He got something that you want to know.
Okay.
Yes.
My question, I'm Joshua from Fagilia TV. Yeah, so
what are you Fagilia?
Kila kitu. Yeah, so my question, niko na question kutoka kwa watu. Nimesema tunakuja hapa leo. So kuna mtu hapa ameuliza, talking about Mungiki. Kenya youth are struggling with unemployment and also crime.
Yeah.
So talk to the youth.
It's not about, now, what do you connect? Try to connect your question with Mungiki and the youth and employment. Just try to connect it. Yeah, I want you to connect it.
I think
Why?
what he's trying to say is Kenyan youth.
People are asking. No, it's not him asking. People are asking because of Mungiki and the unemployment and reframe your question.
In short, youth are struggling with the employment. Unemployment.
Yeah. From who? From who by who?
In short, mayouth wengi wanasema hakuna kazi.
No. Tujibishane. They are looking for employment. From who? And by who? The government does not have employment. No. The government does not create. In fact, what was created in 1963 remains to be so. If it is civil servant, there is an office, there is a Ministry of Agriculture, there is Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there is police, there is what? Army. These things have been there constantly. They don't change. What they do, they increase numbers, and they cannot increase number beyond a particular percentage. Government does not generate employment. The government is meant to create conducive space for self-employment. Are you getting me? If I may ask these youth that are asking these questions, I want to Supposedly, I know every young youth that I've met around, including yourself, they have smart phones. How did you acquire one? And then they are in TikTok. 90% of their time is in TikTok, in Instagram, and which other one? Facebook Reels. That is where they are. If you get into Facebook, and we have now the thing AI, you can do so many things using your phone. What I can say about the young people in Kenya, they are very knowledgeable. They know how to operate their phones on TikTok and all these things, but they are lazy in thinking. They are so lazy in thinking. They are so lazy in being creative, because the phone you are carrying is an empire. The phone you are carrying is a factory. The phone you are carrying is a superpower. The phone you are carrying is diamond. The phone you are carrying is gold. The phone you are carrying is money in the bank. If you can use your phone, you don't need to get out of your bed. You need to be sleeping in your bed and money will be finding you at the bed. More especially when we have a country like Kenya, where you don't need to walk out of the house to buy anything. Because M-pesa is working. You do the job, you get paid, you send something to somebody, a rider to the supermarket, they prompt you, you pay, then the rider brings you in the house. You see, you're getting me? The notion that the government is supposed to create jobs, it is a notion of an idler, a person who does not understand why you exist on earth. God did not create you for the government. If you go to Europe, people do not work, the government do not work for the people. It's the people working for the government. In Europe, you cannot have 10 minutes of idleness. In America, you cannot have 10 minutes of idleness. You'll be working, because if you don't work, you'll not be able to pay bills. You'll not be able to pay rates. You'll not be able to pay all manner of things. And from 17 years old, you're not supposed to live with your mother in Europe and in America. You're not supposed to live in a family. You're supposed to get out and go work so that you start working for the country. They work for the country. The taxes in Europe, if there were 10% of taxes in Europe, if they were to be introduced in Kenya, here, you run away from Kenya. Only 10% of the taxes. People in America, they can earn up to 1 million bob per month. But what is there? What's theirs? Only 50,000. Out of the 1 million, 950 goes to paying bills, government taxes, and everything. So their men and the women are donkeys for the government. But here is a reverse. The government is a donkey for the people. And that is why we have so many lazy people who are not supposed to be given that chance. Because so many people, they have phones. Look at what they are able to create, cartoons and many things, and they do a lot of things using their phone, but they cannot turn that phone to become a factory to create money for them, a system that they can use to empower themselves. We don't need to go for the government to get money. I have never been employed. I have never been employed. And I don't think there is anybody who can be able to afford me. The government of Kenya or any institution cannot afford me because I'm rich. Why? Because I worked. I decided to work. But how did I start my journey? I went after school. When I left school, I was amongst the few 150 people in Kenya who had a B+ in Form 4. It's when an A was a real deal. Wacha sasa kila mtu ako na A. A were only 36 in the whole nation. A. And the B's and the C's, C+ was now the B+ we have today. And even the D's were equally good because the pass mark was also something big. So when I left school, I didn't want to join university, though I was called to join the Nairobi University. Instead, I wanted to become an army officer. I wanted to just drop from above using a parachute. That's what I really wanted. But I didn't get that chance. Unfortunately, I found myself being a chokora in Mweki. After Mweki, I went to Githurai. From Githurai, I went to Ngomongo. From Ngomongo, I went to Njiro. And all in this, I was a chokora. Then I went to Mweki, that is Mweki. I started my business of collecting garbages, selling them, the cartons, the metals, and all manner of things. My first venture into business, I was able to raise 100 bob in a day. The second day, I was able to get 200. The third day, I got 400. And the fifth day, a woman in front of me dropped a purse. And this purse had 20,000 shillings. She said, well, you just by mistake, she dropped. It was not intentional. And to me, and my thinking of that time, I saw God. That finally God has remembered me. And I took that money. I went and started now I created a place in Mweki where I started collecting. Instead of me going to collect the cartons, the metals, I created my yard. And now I started buying the cartons, the metals from my colleagues. And that is how I started my life. After that, in a few days, I built a house in Kenyatta's farm. I went and cut a small piece of land, a quarter an acre. I constructed a carton house with nylon papers, and I had 2-bedroom house. And that's how I started my life. So initially, I started my life by building a carton house covered by nylon paper. Then I had a place where I did my business. I started buying those cartons, the old batteries, the plastics there. And in a week's time, I had a full canter that came to collect, to be taken to industrial area. I sold, and I made my 30,000 shillings. And from that time, the sky has always been my limit. I'm getting money. Money is coming. I moved, became Mungiki. I became a robber. I became a thief. I continued. Got into matatu industry. I continued. I got into working industry. At that, I continued. I opened my shops. I opened my small stalls. And by 10 years later of being, it was 10 years, 7 years, from being a chokora to what I became after 7 years, I was a millionaire. I remember that after 7 years, I had an account that had 50 million shillings. So it's all how you take yourself. It's all how you condition yourself. If you want to say Serikali's idea, you will die poor. I have never seen anybody working for any government on earth that has ever become rich. You don't become rich because you survive by a salary. You don't survive by anything, a salary. And this salary, say maybe a basic salary is 30,000 shillings. By the time that money comes into your hand, pay as you earn has gone. This levy, housing levy has gone. Medical what has gone. Pay as you earn has gone. NSSF has gone. By the time you are 30 comes, it will come in 10,000 shillings. Are you seeing at this point? So you live on what we call hand to mouth. You don't live by looking at a life that will change you. You live in a hand to mouth. So forever and ever, you become a slave and you become somebody who does not own anything. Civil servants who drive cars, they are doing corruption. No civil servant can afford a car. No one. It is only through the proceeds of corruption. Or they have other jobs they are doing. If they have other jobs they are doing, that is why they are driving cars. But any young person never ever imagine to do business or to do anything, to be employed by the government. The government will never make you become that person you are admiring to become. So for me, and I've been doing this, when I was in Mungiki, what we did, we created jobs by garbage collection and security. We also went into the business of selling water in Nairobi, the city government. We also did hawking, and we also chased all the Indians from the streets of Nairobi. Then we got into their houses, then split them into small tables. We created a space for one house. We created a space of 200 people, and we created thousands and thousands of employment. People got self-employed. People started working, and that is why we have The entire city now is subdivided into small portions because of my initiative. Because I was trying to tell Kenyans, tell young people, don't expect to be employed, just work. Yes.
People can say that during that time it was easy and the environment to do business was very conducive, especially during Kibaki's time. Right now, when a young man starts a business, statistics shows that 1 out of 10 businesses is the one that survives, so 9 die. So and it's very encouraging that young people can start businesses also online, but we've seen so many regulations that are barring young people from their businesses from prospering. So what can the government maybe do differently to ensure that there is a conducive environment to do business, especially SMEs?
As I said from the beginning, the failures of young people from being successful is because they are cowards. If you look at what we did while in Mungiki, we fought our way. If it is county government, they came to stop us, we will rough them up. If the police come, we'll fight them. We fought the systems. Now I'm not asking them to go physical, but we have the numbers. We can stop anything that is manipulative. If only we can rise up to the occasion and know I have a right, we have the right. Nobody is supposed to come and impose you on something that will stop you from earning or from eating or from having a livelihood. Well, what we need to do is that rise up to the occasion, defend your space, fight for your space, and make sure you control the systems. We have the numbers. The young people got the numbers. Make sure that for the coming general election, make sure that you have your own MCAs, you have your own members of parliament, and even if you can have a president that comes from you, then again, push. You don't expect anything free from the system. There's no system that will give you anything free. You need to fight. Do not relent. Be one, be united. Fight for that space. There's no freedom. There's no free space given for you. Even when God told the children of Israel He's going to take them back to the land that He promised to their fathers, these lands were occupied by other forces. He told Joshua to go and crush, kill them, destroy them, bring them down. He killed 5 kings in Ai, in Gibeon, in all those countries where God had promised their forefathers that I will take you back to the original land. But this land, God knew it is occupied. That is why He prepared Moses for me to do miracles, but brought Joshua as a general, as a fighter. He fought them. He removed them from the places they occupied. There is nothing that you get from anybody to come and say, oh, please, baby, come, take this, baby. You fight for your freedom. You struggle it out. You make it work. You don't go and sit down and wait for somebody to come and do it for you. No, just do it. Push. Yeah, fight your space. Create a space. There is no free space. Create one. Disperse people. Create one.
One of the ways you've said of fighting for young people is through their votes, which is we have a right to vote. 2024, that was a reality. Right now, as we've seen with Olakalau, the narrative of tribal narrative has come back. In 2004, when people were going out to the streets, there was no tribe. Nobody was asking you, what's your tribe, this tribe. Now we're seeing they're dividing us into Mount Kenya, Eastern, Nyanza. So is it a plan to ensure that young people do not come together and change the government or the system of the day?
No, it is not their plan. Nobody is dividing the youth not to come together. The systems we have in this country, in the world, is a system ya majambazi. It's a man eat man society. And they say God, man for himself, God for us all. Nobody is interested with you because you're a young person. You create your space. You fight them, displace them, disjoint them. Even if it's to kill them. Because they will never allow you to eat. They will never give you space. They will never want you. They want to use you. They have used me to the level that I worked with Moi, I worked with Uhuru, I worked with Kibaki, I worked with Raila. All these people walikuwa nasema itaule kijana yetu. Until I decided enough is enough. I said I'm no longer being a kijana. I'm going to fight for my space. And when I started fighting for my space, I was able to create spaces for many people. That's how you see, I created spaces on the stalls, the roadie, the matatus. Many people who own matatu now, They were my former members. And the people who own houses in the estates, in the Eastlands, Umoja, 3, who go to Ruai, many places that they own properties there like land. They are my former members. Why? I didn't tell them to go simple. I didn't tell them to become just ordinary citizens. Fight for your space. Nobody will give you a space. There is no free space. Fight for that. Even the girlfriend you intend to marry, she has a relationship somewhere. You have to fight to bring her. Buy a lot of coffee, buy a lot of mandazi, buy a lot of things, yeah, so that you can get that person to come to you. So this thing, it is not a walk in the park. Tell these young people, it is not a walk in the park. It is fighting for your space, containing your space, and winning your space, then controlling the space.
Okay. About fighting, my last question.
Yes.
And maybe they can ask their last. We've seen one way we are fighting as young people is Linda Mwananchi.
Yeah.
So is Sifuna a reality? Because they're saying Sifuna for president. So is Sifuna a reality?
Are you a member of Linda Mwananchi?
I am.
What made you to become a member of Linda Mwananchi and not a DCP?
Because of the values that they carry, and also they are young people who maybe understand.
What kind of values?
Sifuna does not seem corrupt.
Was Macron?
Macron. Yeah, from France.
Yeah?
What is? I'm forgetting his name. I remember the one who went to ODM.
The Gen Z guy.
Yeah.
Was he not a youth?
He was a youth.
Where is he now? Why aren't you following him? Is it Macaulay?
Yeah.
This guy from
Samuel.
There's Kasamuel, there's another one.
There is Morara.
Morara.
He's in Jubilee now.
Were they not young people?
They were young people.
Why didn't you follow them?
Because again, they've gone to the
If you compare Morara and Samuel and Sifuna, who is older? Yeah?
No,
who is older?
Sifuna seems older.
Sifuna is older.
Yeah.
Sifuna is pro-system. Sifuna is pro-system.
Okay.
Morara has been bought by the system.
By the system, yeah.
So
Samuel same.
Samuel the same. So it is not about Sifuna becoming a liberator. No. It's you fighting for the space that you think you can fit. Sifuna will not bring any change. Wamonyoro will never bring any change. We thought Ruto would bring change, did he? He's now fighting you. We brought Uhuru, we thought Uhuru would bring change. He's fighting you. And all those were young people. The only president to have brought change is an old man in the name of Kibaki. He did infrastructure changes. He built the roads. He built the bypasses. He opened up the city. That's the only president that has ever changed this country. Even the projects Uhuru and Ruto are doing today, they are not their projects. They are projects that were left by Kibaki to be implemented by the next presidents. So the only person that brought changes and brought life to Kenya is Kibaki. He was old. He was about 80 years old. Now you think these young people can bring change. It is not about the young or the old. It's the system that which is in this person. Can it bring change? The system that is in you. Because you might be young as you look at yourself, but you are older than Moi himself, than Methuselah. What you are thinking is how you can drive a car by tomorrow. From where? How can you get a car by tomorrow? You see, which are these steps that you're going to use for you to get a car? You want to get into corruption quickly, so that you may drive a car. Most of the thieves we have around are young people. Yeah. Sure? Gangsters are young people. Sure? Gays and lesbians are young people. Okay? Conmen are young people. Swindlers are young people because they want to drive BMWs, because they want to drive big cars and nice cars. They want to live a good life. They don't want to struggle. They want just to live a good life. And then you expect that man, that young people, or that young man to become my president, who is a swindler, who is smarter than Ruto. It's only Ruto is in position to do so. You are not in position, but you have conned me. You have conned somebody. Your life, how you live, even if I ask you now, you are here. Eh? Whatever you've been doing, if I ask you go deeper, there is some crooked ways you are in. Eh? And then you are calling other people that these people are crooked. Eh? Yet you alone, well, in your small ways, you are crooked. What if you are magnified? What if you are given position of control? So you will kill us. So it is, I'm not saying that Sifuna will not make it, but I don't see any change that we can get from anyone of the current politicians, not unless we do something we call a revolution. The revolution that was done in France, the revolution that was done in Europe, the revolution that was done in UK, those are the only things that can bring change. The revolution done by Traore is a huge revolution. And then people are put into the apparatus of discipline. Hello? That you'll be beaten up if you're found doing something wrong. That not even being taken to prison. Unachapwa kabisa kichapo cha umbwa vizuri. And so people that can come back to the system. So it's not about the young person, the old person, because you see, Kibaki was better than Uhuru, Kibaki is better than Ruto, Kibaki is better than Moi. And yet Kibaki was older than these people. So even if you say that you're going to bring Babu, you're going to bring Sifuna, you're going to bring even Medo, nothing. I don't think. They are pro-systems. People have been conditioned into systems. Until we break this system, we destroy these systems, that is only when you're going to have genuine people in the society, in the name of young people. But if it is your crop, the Gen Zs you are going to depend on, I'm afraid.
Okay, lastly, when you're finishing, so what's your final word to young people and Kenyans at large?
Young people, you have the power, you have the authority, this is your time to rise up. When I started the Mungike thing, I was about 25 years old. And either it was bad, no, there are people who say it was bad, but they are beneficiaries also, who say it was good. There are people who benefited from it. So whatever that you do on earth, even Jesus died, there are people who benefit because this church is a courtesy of Jesus. Kama Yesu angekufa, singekuwa na kanisa. So I am happy Jesus died. And I'm also happy there is devil. Because had there been devil, people would not be Christians. Are you seeing? Christianity is an industry that has employed so many people. So there are things that happen to benefit us. So if I was to be told tomorrow the devil is going to die, I'll be worried. Because I'll start asking my question, who will I be preaching? What will I be doing? I'm sacked. I'm not there. Pastors will go home. Bishops will go home. If there are people who will not want the devil to die, it's bishops and pastors. Because it's an industry. Are you getting me? So this thing is, as I said, it's a man-eat-man society. So for the young people to rise up, change your attitude, change your desires, and become patriotic to your nation. Come together. The advantage you have, you don't speak your mother tongue, and maybe perhaps most of you, they were not even had the privileges of going through the rituals of your community, the Gikoyos, the Merus, the Kisis, the Jaluos. What you found yourself, you had parents who are speaking English and Kiswahili in the house, and you find friends who are speaking English and Kiswahili, and therefore you don't have that tribalistic kind of aspect in you. You can change this nation. You can rise up to the occasion. Stop what you are doing and change, because it is your future. It is what God wants you to become. Jeremiah was just a young man, 16 years, when God ordained him. Jesus was only 30 years, and he started at 12 years. And many people in the Bible who have been liberators, they didn't start as old people, they started as young people. We are here to mentor you, we are here to support you, we are here to work with you.
Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.